By studying the architecture of the Great Pyramid, researchers were able to determine how long the royal cubit was. They discovered that the unit of measurement to lay out the monument would measure the circumference of the Earth out in 86,400,000 cubits. Further, in Hebrew, the grammatical value of the words world and all nations, as well as the word habitation, all equal 432. Combining these ideas, we get 864 for whole inhabited world. 1. Fingerprints of the gods. 2. The energy grid. 3. Atlantis in America. 4. Stones and the scarlet thread. 2965 BC, 9:30 AM. Adam died, the ancients tolling his years from man's banishment in 3895 BC. But Adam was created by the Anunnaki in 4039 BC, 144 years priorly. Thus the man actually outlived Methuselah by 105 years, living 1074 years. On his deathbed, Adam gathered his sons, and a scribe is brought to record his prophecies. He relates that the flood is coming and will kill everyone but 8 people. He orders that his body is to be buried at the middle of the earth, Giza, c. 2815 BC, this being the prime meridian of the pre-flood world. He commanded that Seth was to carry out the project, his firstborn son of the lineage that would be saved from destruction. Adam gives Seth an ark with holy relics of gold, incense and myrrh, and declared that God himself had provided these artifacts as signs to mankind in the future. These relics were to be preserved on the ark, a ship that would endure the deluge and afterward be placed in a city at the middle of the earth. Though he predicted that the city would be destroyed and plundered after the flood, the relics would be preserved until the word of God, made man, shall come, and kings shall offer the gold, incense and myrrh as tokens of his holy divinity. Adam died in the 243rd year of Enoch's reign, the prophet emperor separating himself for long periods of time to be instructed by God about the future of earth. Though news of Adam's death was not known immediately, the inhabitants of the earth knew that something dreadful had happened because at the same hour the sun darkened in daytime. This is the first time in history of any record of the sun darkening, which would not have been the moon, but that of a celestial object transiting between the sun and earth, darkening our world in shadow. Having spent 66 years above the ecliptic, the ancient Earth-killer comet group now begins its 330-year orbit below the ecliptic, for a total orbital duration of 396 years, half of Nibiru's orbit. The comet group fractured away from Nibiru, and the 66 years over the ecliptic is exactly 792 months. The 930 years of Adam's life from his banishment till death parallels the length of Anunnaki history from 5239 BC to the beginning of their chronology to the destruction of the day star in 4309 BC that ended the binary system, destroyed whole planets and rearranged the entire solar system. Recall that 930 years is the product of both orbital periods of Nibiru, 792, and Phoenix, 138. With Adam's death, God intends to fulfill his promise to his first earthborn son, that he would have an altar erected for him as a sign to all generations that Adam, and by extension humanity, was forgiven. As seen in 2815 BC, this altar is the Great Pyramid. Since the establishment of an Anunnaki matriarch in 3103 BC has now passed 138 years, a phoenix orbit, or 1656 months, 553 times 3. Also, the 148 years of the Mayan calendar is 1776 months, 1776 being a number encoded many times within the geometrical measurements of the Great Pyramid, and found in timelines throughout history involving the Abrahamic Israelite descendants of the Sethite lineage. 1. Genesis, Book of Adam and Eve. Jasher, Tales of the Prophets.